So on this second part, we're going to talk about um, the products. Okay. The products have to be sold. These guys have to sell courses. They got to get, their product out there. So when these guys don't talk about losses, just keep in mind that they have products to sell. They have ebooks to give away. They got all this stuff they got to do. And for whatever reason, in their mind, they think that experts don't lose, or they think that, gassing themselves up more than what they really are is what is going to, them talking about losses is going to minimize their product somehow or minimize their expertise, when in reality, market makers, all kinds of individuals, in all walks of life, in Wall Street, out of Wall Street, traders, all kinds, there are times where money is lost and money is being lost. Where there is money made, there is money lost somewhere. So we can't have this naivete and believe that, everybody who is putting themselves out there and, putting, all these, putting all this expertise out there, somehow they're winning every single trade, or they're having an absolute profitable day. And, the reality is, the more you are engaged in trading, the longer you trade in this business, the better your money management gets, the better your risk management gets. That's the difference. The difference is they are experts in money management and experts in risk management. So even if they lose a trade, it's not taking them way out of their element, way out of the money. They're not losing half their account. They're not losing a third of their account. They're not losing, the whole damn account. They're not losing everything on one trade. They are managing the situation, managing the setup, managing the position that they're putting on. There's a lot of management. A good percentage of this business is about the management. It's about how you manage your funds in the trade, how you plan out your strategies and the odds that are in your favor when working a setup. Okay, so that's what is most important. But for whatever reason, these guys, even though most of these guys may know this, they still don't want to talk about the losses, and the biggest problem I have in the business is, in the business as far as individuals giving courses or talking about certain things, is the fact that for whatever reason, when they get into promotion mode or when they get into course mode or whatever, it's like somehow they just turn off the loss signal. They just turn off the signal of potential losses from other people, from students, because the fact is, people who are following you, people who are, whether it's by example, whether it's through a course, no matter what it is, people are going to lose money. People are going to lose money, okay? People are going to lose money multiple times. People are going to blow accounts. People are going to do all kinds of stuff, okay? So I believe it's this individual's job and his or her due diligence to make sure that when we are talking about trading, that we can't neglect the losing side. We cannot neglect the losing side. We can't just gas up every situation as, oh, hey, you could potentially make this. Oh, hey, watch me trade and watch me make $3,000 to motivate you to make money. Everybody's motivated. That's why you're watching this. That's why you're watching other videos. That's why you're watching tutorials. That's, you're motivated. Everybody's motivated. It's not about motivation. It's about context. And there are a lot of people who are not using good context. They're not contextual. They're just throwing a bunch of stuff out there because they got products to sell. They got courses to sell. So They think that posing themselves as a lossless expert is somehow going to give them more clout, somehow going to give them more notoriety, or whatever the case is going to somehow make them an authority in the business, when the reality is, I mean, we're talking about making money here. We're talking about people's livelihood. We're talking about, people's discretionary income. We're talking about all kinds of stuff. People are, the sacrifices basically is what I'm saying. The sacrifices, the financial sacrifices people have to make just to participate in the markets, and we can't just neglect a process that obviously involves losing. There's going to be losses. And the reason why there are losses is because, for one, you have to master your craft and master your strategy so well to the point where you start to minimize your loss and profit ratios. The more minimal it is, the more money you can make. It's very simple math. Very, 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 very simple math. There's nothing complex about trading. There's nothing miraculous or magical about trading. It's all up here. It's all psychological. And the more psychological slip-ups, the more mishaps you make in trading, obviously, the less profit you're going to have, because you keep making these errors. The more you correct those errors and the better you get at the craft, the more profit you're going to make. It's simple math. And the problem is, there really aren't individuals who are going into certain details about losses, and if you're not going to go into detail, at least explain, certain situations in context, and what a losing situation looks like. That's why I share everything with you guys. That's why I share everything, because I'm sharing the losses. I'm sharing everything because in my commentary, you've seen my losing days in my commentary. Hopefully you have. Go to YouTube if you haven't. But my losing days, I go in on myself. I'll talk about all the mistakes I made in those losses. I'm one of the few, if not the only guy, pretty much, who is willing to do that, who is willing to actually go in and say, man, I lost $800 today because of XYZ ABC, because my method was this and I didn't do that. And I'm actually displaying this. I'm actually showing this. So that's the difference, right? That's the difference. And I think that every expert trader, every guy that they need to disclose that. And the more that these guys try to make themselves look like big shots and then make you feel bad for losing, call you stupid, call you dumb, call you, illiterate, call you, low skill, you have no skills, you're low skilled, and that might be, correct. But, the whole point of coaching, okay, back to my sports analogies, the whole point of coaching is to make that player better. You're pointing out that player's flaws, not to tell them how dumb they are on the court or on the field or wherever, but to help them correct that very quickly. Tell them, hey, every time you jump, this happens. Every time you do that habit, this happens. So you need to correct that. And this is how you correct that. That's how you coach a person, right? That's how you coach a person. That's how you enable a person to learn from their mistakes and learn from, whatever mistakes they're committing in your process. And that's what a lot of these guys aren't doing, because they have a product to sell. They got to make themselves look like, excuse me, wow. They got to make themselves look bigger than what they really are, and make themselves look like, they have all the answers. Meanwhile, they're hiding their losses. Meanwhile, they're tucking their losses away under the bed, and they're hiding that dirty laundry and just putting out all their beautiful stuff. Hey man, I made $5,000 today, 10 grand. I made this. I turned $100 into 10 grand. Give me a break. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, get over all of that and just be real. Just allow a person to understand from your mistakes. If you're committing certain errors, share that with the person. You know what I'm saying? And that's what these guys are doing, because they're selling a product. And the more you understand that, the better you're going to understand. The more you're going to understand how to better your learning process. because that's what you need to do, is just to better your learning process and to be more transparent and not get sucked into all this stuff, the glitz and all that other stuff. You need to learn the skill set, and the only way to learn the skill set is to learn from your losses and not get caught up in product selling activities. So just keep that in mind when we're talking about, guys who aren't talking about losses.